What's up, everybody? Happy Thirsty Thursday. Hope you all are doing well. Welcome to another episode of Command This. I'm your boy, Steve. I'm joined by my guy. Oh, sorry. We're a little crossed up here. Philly, Mr. Phil Credible. Brother man. This is episode 356, talking a little bit of Draftology. And to do so, we are bringing back our boy, good friend of the show, great guy just to know. It's a pleasure just to be in his presence. Co-host of the Big Doug and Carmi show on YouTube, X, Facebook. We know him as George. You guys might know him as G Carmi. But either way, let's welcome George to the show. Big George, let me get you a round of applause here for popping on in, man.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? Good to be here, man. That's a fat-ass intro, by the way. I haven't been on in a while. That's a real good intro. I love that. Good stuff.
Music by Dev, of course.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Dev. Can't join us today. Still under the weather a little bit.
Dev's very under the weather. y'all gotta understand. We have our little group chat.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't know the updates we get from Dev sometimes.
Yeah,
it's like, Dev, I'm eating breakfast. Don't send that.
That's so funny.
If you know the acronym TMI, too much information, then that's kind of what it is.
You know what? That just goes to show you that this podcast is a brotherhood because we say shit like that to each other. So it is what it is.
It's good stuff. But welcome to the show, George. A lot of cool stuff going on for DC sports in general.
Absolutely,
you had Caps beating the Canadiens 4-1 last night, and then 4-1 in this series. So good to see them advance.
Canadiens fans are doing nothing to help the rather poor reputation of people of French descent.
They're
full soft. Is that what you're trying to get at, Phil?
SAWFT soft.
Okay.
I mean, it is soft.
Soft. Okay.
Oh my God! Like, you guys were the last. You guys were the lowest seed. You barely got in the playoffs. You got outplayed, out-hit, and all you're going to do is cry. And it's funny. They lost series 4-1. They're like, yeah, they barely beat us. I'm sorry. What? What?
They must have been real mad. Dude, Tom Wilson had 2 goals in back-to-back games. He laid someone out, game winner the other day. It's all. I mean, we deserve it.
Ovechkin's getting into scraps and scoring overtime goals on them and everything else. So as Deluxe here says in the comments, au revoir.
Canadiens. I love it. That's good stuff.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I really thought that maybe they had peaked a little early with the whole Ovechkin record they were going for, because they lost to some really bad teams toward the end of the season, and proved me wrong so far. So I don't have them going past this round, knock on wood, but I hope I'm wrong again. I got a little bracket.
Playing the Hurricanes, it's a rival.
Yeah,
it's a rival.
Big rival.
And funny because my buddy's like, well, shouldn't you be rooting for the Devils because they're the worst team? I said, nah. Because I don't want those excuses. I don't want to hear, oh, you played the poorest seed possible in every round. No. Give me your best.
Absolutely. That was our first series win. That was our first series win since 2018. We won the Stanley Cup. So we just got over that first hump. See what happens.
Yeah, we need some love, man. It's been the Commanders took us pretty far last year unexpectedly, and I think it's kind of a good segue into the show here. We last met with you towards the end of the season, George. And hold on, let me turn this music off here. And I don't know the exact date we talked. I know it was towards the end of the season, and it was a unexpected surprise to be as good as we were supposed to be. Right, we were supposed to be with the pundits have 6 wins maybe top.
Yeah, something like that. 7 wins, something like that. Yeah.
we went on the run we did. Everyone played great in spurts. Like Brian Robinson started off good to the season, then he went downhill. Then we saw Terry pick it up, then we saw Jaden pick it up, we saw Eckler pick it up. And then we got to the end of the season, man. Tell us real quickly, like wrap up the playoffs in a nutshell, your expectations, how it ended, the way it ended.
It was amazing, man. So going into the season, we kind of had, mid-level expectations. For me, my goal going into the season was I hope Jaden Daniels is healthy by the end of the year, right? Remember, there's all that talk of him. He's a great athlete, he's a great player, but is he going to be hit? Is he going to be fragile? We had that RG3 PTSD to some extent.
Right.
We started off 6-2, 7-2. We had a crazy start to the year. We kind of hit that little lull in the middle of the year where he was injured, where he hurt his ribs. And to end the year, it was awesome, man. It started off with that Falcons game. If you guys remember, that was essentially a playoff game, Sunday Night Football. We won that game in overtime. Fantastic. So much momentum. I just felt amazing, right? Going into the playoffs, it was awesome, man. I was like, you know what? I have to go. I actually went to the Tampa game and I went to the Philadelphia game. I don't know if I told you either one of those. Dude, Tampa was a show, dude. It was wild down there. So Tampa has that normal Florida griminess a little bit to it, so it's kind of fun to get down there. And we just took over that stadium. It was Northwest South. We had a huge tailgate, hundreds of people. There's videos to show it. When the Commanders scored touchdowns, the Commander fans would cheer, just go crazy. That was a great game altogether. We were just pumped up, and it was just a blast. My favorite part about it was the tailgate. Tampa Bay fans would roll up into the stadium, and we would boo them as they're driving into the stadium because we overtook that entire place. So that was dope, man.
Right.
And then finally, I go to Philadelphia. Philadelphia was a good time, dude. I dropped a lot of money for those tickets. It was a lot of money, over a G for those tickets. But I don't regret it though. NFC Championship game. Well, let me take a step back. I skipped the Detroit game, dude. That was probably the best game of the entire year. Where did you guys watch those games? Where did you guys watch the Lions game?
I was at home with my kids, man. My kids stayed up for all the games. We watched it together, bro. It was great.
Yeah, I was on a cruise ship. Where'd you go?
I was on a cruise ship.
Did you actually watch the game?
In the middle of the Caribbean, and I watched the Tampa Bay and Detroit games. It was a 9-day cruise in the Caribbean.
Dope, man.
And thank God for unlimited drink packages. It's funny because I think I may have been the only true Commanders fan around. I sat there at the bar watching that Tampa Bay game. I was at the bar. There was an Irish pub in there, and that's where we sat. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm just drinking, and then the Detroit game. And it's funny because I got into it with an Eagles fan after that Tampa Bay game.
Yeah.
It's of course you're here, and all you can do, we're driving for to get the game-winning field goal, and I hear EAGLES Eagles. I turn around, and of course I am 9 or 10, whiskey apples.
It creeps up on you.
Yeah. You got that. You got a liquid courage. You feel a little loose. Okay, got you. Okay.
I just scream, "Congratulations, you can spell!"
That's so funny.
And all of a sudden, like, what do you expect when you do that and your team's not even playing?
Yeah.
And dude got salty.
Did he?
Salty.
That's so funny.
And then the Lions game was funny because there was a bunch of Lions fans on there. Anybody from up north, they go on cruises in January.
Absolutely. It's smart. Yeah.
There's a bunch of Lions fans, but it was a lot more of a fun back and forth with them.
Yeah, Lions are cool. Yeah, because they get it. They know where it's been at, right? They kind of look that stuff for years and years.
Yeah, a lot of the same years.
Yeah.
Like we did. So, but it was a lot more of a fun back and forth, and in that regard. But there was a lot of back and forth. And by the time it was pretty evident that we were going to win the game, they just got real quiet.
Dude, it was.
I think they thought that this was their year.
Yeah, they did. And I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you remember, there was that one media guy that was like, you want us, we have you, and we're going to beat you down.
Yeah.
There's talking so much trash about it. There was so much hype going into that game. And it was funny, fellas, because I went down to Tampa. Tampa was a show. We all got to go to Tampa again if they ever play them down there again. Awesome stadium, pirate ship, cool vibes, warm weather. It was awesome going down there in January. I couldn't speak. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I came back. I had to take off of work because I was just so hurt from staying up and drinking, having a good time down there. So for the Lions game, I just watched it at home, and I was like, you know what? I hope we play well. The Lions are a juggernaut. We're going to see what happens. We started putting work to the Lions, and that changed the whole game. That was so much fun. And I think Sanders still had an interception, and Quan Martin had an interception.
Oh yeah,
we started exposing them, and it was like, we're going to do this. And like, I don't know if I told you guys, but throughout the playoffs, I was kind of rolling the dice. Like I bought playoff tickets for the next game, like midway through the game. Like at halftime, I'm like, I'm going to buy Eagles tickets because the price is going to blow up if I don't do it.
That's what people were doing to chase Ovi's record.
It was crazy. Yeah. Exactly right. So I was lucky. My tickets, I'll be real with you guys. I spent $800 for the Eagles ticket, which isn't crazy. Like, my wife.
Yeah. How many NFC championships?
Dude, my first one I've ever seen in my life.
Exactly.
I was like, what? Like in 91, I was like 8 years old or something. I wasn't at the game for sure. Yeah.
I was at the divisional game that year.
Okay, cool.
The Falcons game. I was at that one. So I can say I've been to a playoff game.
There you go.
When I had just turned 8, or I was about to turn 8. It was around that time.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. It's like, when if we had an opportunity to go to an NFC championship game?
The last playoff game I went to was RG3's game. That was the last game I went to. So that was a bad game. So yeah.
That's good stuff, man. Yeah, it surprised us all. Anytime you try to have a conversation with some of the people on X from Philly, when you try to talk analytics, like I'm an analytics guy, you try to talk. The only response is 55-23 go Birds. I'm like, all right, I'm trying to have an educational conversation with you, and your reply is 55-23 go Birds. Okay, I get it. You got us. Like, look,
they can only spell 6-letter words. What do you expect?
They misspell it half the time, man.
We are crazy.
So that's wild.
I don't know if they spell it because it's a chant, or if they spell it because they have to remind themselves how to spell their own team's name.
Yeah. So I'll say one thing, like knowing both of you guys, you would love going to Philadelphia. People I know the aftermath. Everyone was like, oh man, like, and they're so mean to us, they're so rude. I can't imagine that. I loved it, man. I loved it. Like I don't want to, Steve knows, I went to the University of Maryland College Park, and I went there during those Duke Maryland rivalries, that UNC Maryland rivalry. People like cuss each other out. It was one of the most hostile environments out there. They would flick you off. They would tell you F you to your face and talk about the Eagles fans. I'll throw it right back at them. It was a blast. It was like we went back and forth, but it was respectful. It was like no one putting hands on each other. We're just kind of yapping at each other, and it was just fun. And it was like I would talk smack, and then once we started losing, I was like, I can see it. You guys got this game. But it's the blast being out there. I wasn't scared. I thought it was a fun environment. It was better than being like, being too soft, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I got a similar story because I went to Philly in December of 2015. And that was a game where we beat Philly to win our first division title. It was our division title we won with Kirk Cousins. One where we kneeled down going into the half.
Yeah.
I was at that game, and I got beer thrown at me. I got a bag of popcorn thrown at me. Now it's Eagles fans, so they missed.
Yeah.
I got an entire section just to give me the asshole chant.
Yeah.
At me. So I just stood up and started going like this.
Exactly. That's how you respond. That's how you're supposed to respond. Just do that. Yeah. Bring it back at them.
They get so mad. They get so mad.
Like, oh, man.
Hall picked up that fumble for a touchdown. I had a guy who was 5'4", both vertical and horizontal.
Yeah.
Want to challenge me to a fight, and his buddy's like, nope, pushed him along the way. We win.
Yeah.
I got 2 kids with me.
Mm-hmm.
They're 9 and 10 years old.
Yeah.
They're high-fiving anybody wearing burgundy and gold and having a good time.
That's
I'm
awesome.
there with the girls dating at the time. And some dude looks at me and goes, I hope you and your whole family die in a fiery auto crash on the way home.
Jesus.
And I just turned around, I flipped them off, and I said, but we'll die champions.
There you go. That's the way to do it. If you get upset, they win. That's how it is. You know what I'm saying? You got to roll with it.
I'm really relaying this, not just to relate the fact that I know exactly what you're talking about, but anybody who goes to Philly to watch us play Philly, this is what we call words of advice. You have to throw it back at them.
Yeah, 100%.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because first of all, the only cool person I met in that stadium was from Arlington.
Okay.
Virginia?
And he was
in Texas.
So go figure.
Yeah.
He's a DC guy.
The
you have to fire it back at him. You have to show him that you don't care. And if you don't have that in you, don't go.
Yeah. If you get sensitive to some of the things, you'll get upset. Yeah.
You might find the one who will nut up, but most of them won't.
Yeah, they won't.
Just Deluxe says circular sinks at the vet are not supposed to be troughs. That happens.
It does happen.
What's up, Deuce? Says, did Dev bleach himself? Did the Knicks lose? I don't know the score of that game yet. They were playing earlier. They were actually winning. I got to check in on that actually.
Knicks score updates on my phone because
I don't either, but hold on real quick. Oh, 65-63 in the third. Still going on. Oh, Deuce, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you, Deuce. Thanks for the super chat, brother. We appreciate it. Last time during the draft, we got a couple super chats. We're trying to get enough so we can get Phil chugging some adult beverages here on the stream. 4-hour stream gets a little dry, so we almost got there. But Deuce, really appreciate you, man.
I like that.
Yeah. Saying hi to a couple of people in the chat. Tia, what's going on? Ryan, Elias, thank you for joining us. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the YouTubes. The click is free. We would greatly appreciate it if you did. Just catching up with our boy George Carmi here, talking about how the end of the season ended. So when the season ended, we lost to the Birds, 55-23. Birds. And we go into the offseason. Before we get to the draft, in your mind, what were our biggest needs heading into the draft, in your opinion?
Heading into the draft, that's a good point.
In priority order.
Okay, interesting. Okay, because I'll start off with this. Going right at the end of the season, my biggest concern was wide receiver. Everybody was upset about edge. Like, oh man, I'm really worried about the edge. Saquon ran all over us. We got bullied in the NFC Championship game. I could see that, but I was concerned with, hey, we don't have a number 2. We have Noah Brown. We have Zacchaeus. We didn't really have anyone to kind of complement Terry McLaurin. So I was worried about that. Going into the draft, I started to kind of build it up. I thought edge rush was definitely our biggest concern. I thought running back was a big concern. I thought cornerback was a big concern. I think you could also add to our wide receiver group. Like, I like Deebo Samuel, and obviously we should definitely pay Terry, but we should have some sort of wide receiver in a young wide receiver to kind of build up moving forward. That's kind of was my hope getting there.
Dude says no kicker.
He was kicking the whole time.
Agency.
100%, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, and I think for the most part, maybe people could flip around edge and receiver with your opinion, but spot on because it was Terry and the Jags, right? Like that's literally what it was. Damn, Dev, Dev from the hospital board.
What's up, bro?
You, man. Well, I hope your Knicks win. Thank you for reinvesting into your own thing.
All right, just for that one. Hashtag Knicks tape.
Hashtag Knicks tape. Yes, I hope the Knicks win for that. Dev's checking in. Said Carmi go Knicks. Yep, it's close game, Dev. Close game. Deuce and Dev going back and forth, some banter. So that being said, in the offseason, we traded Deebo Samuel was the first one out the gate we got. So that solved your first issue. Now with Deebo coming in, most people say he's a slot receiver. He can kind of do it all, but I get slot is his strength. A lot of people saw that as a draft pick strength that you can substitute. We only have 5 picks. And then we go out and get Laramie Tunsil.
That was ridiculous.
So that took me for a loop. I think it took all of us for a loop. We were like,
no one knew that.
Brandon Coleman might turn out to be a pretty good left tackle. He showed some promise, and all of a sudden we get Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the coach of the Texans.
D'Amico Ryans.
D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah.
He was talking about what kind of guy you're going to get in Laramie Tunsil. People interviewed him. Like he looked like he was like, I'm a little bit upset about losing Laramie Tunsil.
100%. Yeah.
So we got a wide receiver. We got a left tackle. Like that in itself, 2 draft picks alone.
Those are 2 of the premium positions to you. You're looking at the way the NFL works is you want to create big plays, you want to stop big plays, right? So it's quarterback and wide receivers on offense, it's edge rushers and cornerback on defense. And the funny thing is we covered most of that during the offseason.
Right. Yeah. Dev said he'd love to be here, but literally duty is calling. Dev, we get
PG version of what we get.
We get you.
I'm sure.
Okay. Any other free agent pickups that you think, kind of did it for you,
I think they raised our floor. Like, I don't think any of the free agents really popped for me. I think Kinlaw is going to add some rotation to our defensive line. I think Jonathan Jones is going to be a good utility player. I was upset they would let Jeremy Chin go, guys. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I like him.
Like a little pull behind the
was a
curtain
Gene
thing.
fan.
Like Doug and I talked to Daniel Albright. You guys know who that is, right?
Yep.
He's a beat reporter for the Broncos. He's kind of dialed in. He kind of let us in on a secret. He was like, guys, like Jeremy Chin's on lock. Like you guys are going to get. He like DM'd us saying that Jeremy Chin was coming back to DC, and then basically within a couple hours he was gone. So it was like, I don't think Washington wanted him to go. I think they kind of set a limit for him and he walked away. So I was disappointed by that. But like, getting Will Harris, I think they got him to kind of cover up a little bit of a hole, but I don't think he's like a long-term guy. I think he's like, if you look at his contract, it's like $2 or $3 million. They don't see him as a potential star, in my opinion. So, I thought they covered up some holes, but I don't think they really elevated it too much besides Deebo and Tunsil, in my opinion.
And Chin, it was 2 years, 16 and a half.
Nothing. It was like $8 million or something. And
guarantee was 12 million something, which is really, $6 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't pay $6 million. We still have almost 24 million, if I remember, according to Ken Johansson, 24 million left.
Yeah.
So I really thought he would have, he fit in nicely here too, with the culture, with the way he played on defense. Him and Louisville were nice compliments. So I wish that was good, but we took care of our own. We brought back the veteran. We brought back Tress Way.
I forgot about that.
Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, who I didn't, I like we brought back Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz.
And then we brought back John Bates, who Dev will tell you is the highest, most overpaid tight end in the NFL. We paid John Bates, $4 million a year for the next 3-4 years to block and to get 75 yards a year.
I was surprised. Yeah, exactly. Like 10 catches or something like that. I'm surprised they brought back the whole tight end room. Going into the draft, you knew the tight ends weren't even an option because we already had 3. We actually already have 4 if you count Yankoff on the bench. We have all those guys coming back, so I was surprised by that.
Yeah. What's up, Cody? Checking in from Utah. How you doing, man? What's up, gents? Marcus. Remember, make sure you guys check out Marcus Sports View 2 on Facebook, man. Sharing all the Commanders content. Maximilian Bates. Yes, Maximilian Bates. He's going to do what he's supposed to do. What I really hope that Ben Sinnott really gets a chance. I really, really, really like Ben Sinnott. The measurables are just too damn close to Chris Cooley, and it's not a coincidence. So I really hope to see him utilized, but we'll see.
That's another thing though too. See, like we're going to talk about the draft. We are already, it's kind of funny, it's human nature. We're already sort of counting out Sinnott. We're already sort of cutting out Luke McCaffrey. We're already sort of counting out Johnny Newton. If any one of those guys takes another step forward, our team's going to be that much better for it, man, for real.
Yeah. Yep. And Dev says this all the time. We're going to have to put up, right now, we're going to have to put up 60 points this year to win some of these games because, they didn't invest in the defense like we thought we could. We'll talk about this with Trey Amos, but so, and then Marcus Mariota was another key cog to bring back. Although I really like the way Jeff Driscoll ran the offense in the preseason. I feel like he ran the offense very strongly. But
go ahead. Sorry, to add on to that, man, me and Doug were talking about on our show. It's so underrated that we almost brought back almost all of our coaches came back. We have continuity moving forward, right? Getting Cliff Kingsbury back was huge. Not losing anyone really on defense, keeping our quarterback coach. The best thing for a young quarterback is consistency and getting all those guys back again. Like I think Jaden's smart enough that he can elevate any offense. Just having his first 2 years in the league with Cliff Kingsbury is such a good stepping stone, man, for just moving forward.
And think about times past. Jason Campbell had 4 OCs in 4 years.
Yeah,
look at Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams had already in his first season, he had a new, he's going through all these. So you're right, consistency the same. And not to mention Lance Newmark, our assistant champ, came back too. He had an opportunity to leave and he chose not to. So I think it's all good. Deuce asks, you guys think fortifying the line will help Ben more because he'll be able to release into his routes instead of chipping? Ertz barely chipped. Yeah, I think so. That wasn't Ertz's job.
Yeah.
And I think with this I think we're going to see, we saw a lot of, guard pulling, not counter trade, but like gap scheme, zone running. I think with Coleman on the right side, he's extremely athletic. If you haven't seen, Deuce's Josh Conerly challenge, which is going viral, by the way, shout out to Deuce.
I love that. Shout out to Deuce,
I got to see Phil do that next. Everyone in the world doing the Josh Conerly challenge. We needed to see do it.
No.
Even Logan Paulson's doing it. JP Finley did it. It's gonna.
My knees. My heart wants to do it. My knees and my heart had a conversation.
Yeah.
My knees said, "I will blow out to the point of no return."
Pow, 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 pow.
My heart went, "Ooh."
Yeah. So that was our free agents. We fortified some weaknesses, and then with only 5 picks going to 2. So with that being said, George, you gave us what you thought our priorities were going to the draft, and so going into the draft 2 Thursdays ago. Yes.
Maybe last week.
Last Thursday. Has it been a week? No, last Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday.
It's been a week. It's been a week, yeah.
Who did you honestly think when we were at pick 28 was done? You saw all the people on the board. Who did you think they were going to get at 29?
Like, it's so funny. I'm going to answer this two different ways. I thought they were going to get Donovan Ezeraku. I thought that was going to be the pick.
Same.
I thought that was going to be the edge guy.
Or Green.
But Deuce and I have been talking for weeks. We knew a oddball was going to come out. We knew a random name was going to come. But I thought they ultimately did the right thing. Like, I think Donovan Ezeraku would have been a good addition for us. But I like the Josh Conerly pick, and I can talk about it whenever you're ready about that. But yeah.
Okay. All right.
Wow. What about you, Phil? What do you guys think? So, who did you guys think it was going to be, and what did you guys want it to be?
I thought it was going to be Donovan or Nick Scourton.
Okay, Mike Green was. I thought Mike Green was on the table too. People were like, he was off the table.
Well, when the time to pick came, Mike Green was on the table, and I thought edge, because there's so many on the board.
Yeah,
you got your pick.
I mean, if
you don't have James Pierce, but you got your pick, and it's. But I figured you still got plenty to pick from that are first round talents. Mm-hmm. So when it happened, I just remember my reaction be like, huh? It took a second for me to process. It's one of those picks. It's funny because it's like when we picked Jahan Dotson, which is not a good comparison in terms of how his career has panned out. But in terms of I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Right. Now, now Dotson, I'd follow his career a lot closer because I'm a Penn State guy. So I immediately got a smile on my face, and everybody else was like, who? And I'm like, y'all don't understand how good this guy was in college.
Mm-hmm.
Conerly, I had gotten some info on, but I really didn't pay too much attention because it never came up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Never came up. So finally, once I started really looking to it, I was like,
he's nice. Like, this
is a nice pick.
I thought offensive line was going to be a dark horse pick. And when the name came up, there was I was hoping for Mike. It was a pipe dream, right? I wanted Mike Green. I wanted that high upside. I do like character players, but at the same time, I think you need a couple goons on your team. And I was like, you know what? I don't mind getting Mike Green if he's the best pass rusher. I want someone that's a little bit crazy off the edge. But then once Josh Conerly's name came up, I was like, you know what? I wasn't upset with it because I think he's actually pretty – the people that we talked to throughout the whole draft cycle liked him a lot. And then once I did a film breakdown with him with Mark Bullock, who's on our show on Tuesdays, I was like, holy shit. Like, this guy's like, you guys are going to really like him. I don't know if you guys have really dived into him yet. He's nasty. Like, I think Josh Conerly's going to be like Pro Bowl player. Like, he's going to be sick. Like, he's.
Oh, I spent the whole weekend.
But for someone who casually, like I read Mark Bullock's review of Josh. He put it on his Substack, his prospects. So I read it there and caught a glimpse of it on your show. Mm-hmm. But as so I'll call him a casual Josh Conerly understander. So, but for someone who saw we just drafted Laremy Tunsil, and for someone who casually looked at Josh Conerly and saw he played left tackle at Oregon and gave up like one sack in the last 2 years, I'm like, okay, he's a left tackle. Then we draft. I'm like, why did we just draft a left tackle? Oh, okay. And then once the pieces started falling in place and the gear started spinning, I'm like, okay, Conerly's going to be a right tackle, right? Wiley's out, or Wiley will kick over. You got Biotis, you got Badass. So like the line is kind of fortified now.
Nasty.
Like, it took me a little bit to click. I'm like, well, damn.
Yeah. It depending on where you guys fell on where Brennan Coleman was. Like, I always thought, go back to my tweets. I can pull it up. Like, I thought Brennan Coleman would have been best served as the left guard. Like, actually, I thought him next to Tunsil would have been like a dynamic duo, like having a young guy, like having that, because they're both gigantic. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys saw, they're both like 6'5", 330. Coleman and Tunsil, right? So like, dude, like instead of putting Coleman on the other side of the line and kind of separating those twin towers, have one dominant side of the line. And Biotis is actually pretty damn good too, right? That's kind of what I was hoping. And now we got Conerly on the other side. Biotis is pretty badass. Biotis is badass. Like, if you count his name. Then you got Coleman and Tunsil. Then you have Cosby at the right guard. Our offensive line might actually be elite, boys. That's going to be awesome. Right. Like, with the run game and pass block, it's going to be nasty, dude.
And we keep forgetting Nick Allegretti was solid at guard as well. He was a left guard. If he can play if Coleman really steps up, you move him. You can move him left guard and move Allegretti to right.
Yeah,
left tackle to right tackle is a much bigger transition, right tackle left tackle, than the guard spots are. Left guard, right guard, guys can alternate those a lot easier.
You can hide it as a guard because you have basically a center and a tackle right next to you, kind of insulate.
You're not really on an island the way you are at tackle.
Right. Yeah.
Conerly is a left tackle quality guy who's going to play right tackle.
Yeah, but okay, go ahead.
Which is going to do, which realistically means a lot because Jaden, as good as he can be from the pocket, Jaden likes to scramble in both directions. So having a stout blocker in front of him in either direction, instead of having a Andrew Wiley, is going to result in less unnecessary sacks. It's going to provide him more time. Conerly, of course, is a better pass blocker and run blocker, but he can run block. And that, not that he's weak at it. It's just his pass blocking is that much stronger.
He's only 21 years old. He's not strong enough yet. That's kind of where he's at. But the one thing about the NFL, and dude, it's getting better and better every year. It's so wild, right? Like they're smart, man. Like now, when we were growing up, guys, when we were watching football, it was like you have to have the left tackle to protect the blind side of the quarterback. Now, NFL defensive coordinators are like, dude, we don't care. We're going to move our edge rushers back and forth. If there's an advantage of one guy over another, they're going to put them on either side. But now we have bookend tackles, and we grew up watching that, guys. Chris Samuels and John Jansen on both sides, and Jim Lachey and Russ Green, whatever. We had different tackles growing up our whole life. We had those bookends to kind of protect them there. And Colin nasty. Like I can get technical with it if you guys want me to. Like he's actually pretty badass. I'm really looking forward to him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so I thought we were going to get first James Pierce. Didn't happen. Then I thought it was Mike Green, and then or Donovan, just like you said. So Conerly was a surprise to me, but I'm happy we got him. I completely understand it. Just like you and Deuce said, it was kind of out of left field. Of course, everyone predicts enough on social media that eventually you can say, "I picked this guy."
Yeah,
right?
You pick 15 people, you're going to pick.
But if you put a boomstick to someone's head, say, who are you doing? I don't think I maybe saw one person said Conerly's the guy.
Nobody said Conerly's the guy.
Yeah, exactly. Deluxe did say he thought O-line was a pick during our live stream. He did say, I think it's going to be O-line. So he was on it. He saw the vision. Marcus said, I listened to B mention Finley. The Chiefs was a team who was the trade partner for the Commanders. They wanted Josh Conerly, but AP declined the trade. Ooh. Because the Chiefs were picking behind us, right?
I saw that. I think them and the Browns potentially. Yeah. So there's a couple people that wanted to move up, and so for those of you that follow me on Twitter, for those of you that watch my show at all, we did drafts like live mock drafts with people for 3 straight weeks. It was pretty wild. Someone else would come on every single week, and we found that after the end of the first round, Conerly is the edge. He's the cliff in regard to tackles. If you didn't select Conerly, it would just fall off a cliff. There wouldn't really be anybody remaining, right? So he's the last one. And what we understood was, and people in NFL circles, if they wanted to trade up, it would have been for a quarterback or for a left tackle. And potentially, and Conerly they were interested in him. And one thing I'll say about it, I'm sure you guys saw, he's an athlete, man. He can get out and move. We were doing our film breakdown. Yeah. It's breaking up, but we were doing some film breakdowns, and he gets out on screens, he gets up to the second level. He's a technician too. In addition to being a great athlete, when Mark Bullock was bringing little DJ, when Mark Bullock was on our show, he just kind of showed the different sets that the left tackle a tackle can do. And Conerly has great footwork. He does jab steps, he does a parallel step, he does a step back, he hits with one hand, 2 hands, he has power. He's smart and athletic, and I think he's 21, and he's going to get to a second contract at 26. He's nasty. I'm really excited about him now.
Homeboy hasn't even finished growing yet.
Dude, he's a big baby face. He's so young. Dude. He's so crazy. Yeah.
And here's the thing: he's kind of so everybody loved Brandon Coleman for his athleticism, but it was always his technique needs work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Brandon Coleman comes out of college with much better technique, he's Josh Conerly. So if you liked Brandon Coleman last year, you're going to love Josh Conerly because he's a much more finished, polished product. Absolutely. And by the way, now my exposure to Conerly came most notably in the Big Ten championship game.
Shut down Abdul Carter. Yeah.
He shut down Abdul Carter. Where's Abdul Carter now?
Yeah, New York.
Yeah. I'm sure Conerly wants to smoke with Abdul Carter because that was such a notable thing that came out of that game was Abdul Carter got shut down.
Yeah,
right. That's why Oregon won, and now twice a year we play the Giants.
Yeah,
dude, I agree with
Marcus. Abdul Carter, that's not going to work. You're not going to throw him in Tunsil. Tunsil's even better. So I just thought that was interesting how that played out because we now know that Conerly can handle.
He can handle
the
it.
Best pass rusher in the draft.
Absolutely.
If that doesn't tell you that this was a good pick, I don't know what does.
And Marcus nails it. Like I know it's kind of blasphemous to say because I think Trent Williams is a mutant, right? But I think Josh Conerly, he doesn't lumber. Like he's not like a big clunky guy. He's an athletic 330 pounds. He runs like he's a running back, as Deuce kind of said earlier. Like he has fluid movements. He can get upfield. Like we were doing our film study, there's a screen where he like blocks someone that gets out in front of the running back and he's kind of leading the pack and he's blocking ahead of people. Like, he's going to be pretty damn elite. And I think like you guys know this. If you're a winning team, if Jaden Daniels' eyes are on you, like they're going to kind of bring the accolades. So we're going to get more Pro Bowlers. We're going to get more like people that go along with it. I'm telling you guys, like if he has a pretty solid year, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a Pro Bowler in year one. He actually looked pretty. Like, he is very fluid and he can get out there. The only thing I would say is, he can build up his strength a little bit, but I'm really impressed by him.
And I think I kind of put this in the chat. The formula to me for Adam Peters, as we talked about this, is three things. It's the top 30 visits. It's the
Senior Bowl,
Senior Bowl, and it's the RAS, right? People joke about relative athletic scores, but it's a thing. It is a thing, and there's something to be said about all the people that the Commanders drafted. Everyone had a high ass athletic score. Every one of them.
Yeah.
You can't teach a lot of these things, and they of course they ding him on his height here, but look at his things on the right. His speed's elite.
Yeah,
505. I think Trent was a sub 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Trent's a rare species. He's fucking
100%,
crazy.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. So I think that's the formula that they were going for when they did that. So okay, so that's Josh Conerly. So I think we're all happy with the Conerly pick.
I love Conerly pick.
Although surprised, you can see some of the people's reactions on social media. It's kind of funny. But the next person we got in round 2. So coming up to round 2, did you expect them to get a corner? Because we had just got the tackle in round 1. Who were you feeling in round 2?
So in my mind, I thought we were going to go edge in the first round. I thought wide receiver was going to go in the second round. That's what I thought was going to happen. Like Trey Harris, Jaden Higgins, Jaylin Noel, people like that. I thought it was going to be some of those people coming up in the second round. They sort of come off the board, but early, 100% early. But then once I saw them take Trey Amos, I was psyched, man. I thought I was pumped up. Like Siobhan Ravel was also on the board that could have potentially taken him. And coincidentally, we were going, like we did film work again with Mark. We were kind of breaking that down. When we left the film study, Siobhan Ravel was like, he had more of an upside. He was more of like he's a boom or bust prospect. But we broke it down. Trey Amos is a better fit for our defense. He plays what Dan Quinn wants to do. I'm sure you guys heard the zone man or the man match type of defense. That's what Trey Amos does. He plays off the ball. He watches the wide receiver, and he plays physical. He runs through contact and knocks the ball down. And after watching that, I was like, dude, Trey Amos is legit. And once we saw him, I was like, we got to steal. Like if you go to most like draft, like
first round grades
across the board through media, I think people are going to like him a lot. Like I think he's going to be legit. I think it was a 4 or 5 star prospect. Played at Alabama before this. Came into Ole Miss. He's an SEC head. I think it's going to be a great, like Trey Amos and Conerly. What they do is they bring up the collective, right? Like Josh Conerly built our whole offensive line. It's made our offensive line better because we have a right tackle, but now we can move Coleman into moving the left guard. Same thing with Trey Amos. He elevated our entire DB room. Like, are you guys concerned about our DBs next year?
Not as much anymore.
Not as much anymore, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, still kind of am, but not as much anymore. But do you think this enables Mike Sainristil to kick back inside and Trey Amos can play on the outside, given his strength in the zone run? But he's also not he's not a liability in the man scheme.
Yeah.
But his strength is in the zone. So do you think this gives them the opportunity to do that, or do you think they might use him in a different fashion?
I like Trey. I think Trey Amos is going to play on the outside because he's 6'1". I think 34-inch arms. He's a long rangey cornerback, 4.4 speed. I think he's built for the corner. He can also press, as Phil's kind of talking about. But what I like about our defensive staff, having Dan Quinn, having all those guys, they're not stupid, right? Like you want Mike Sanders still in the slot. You want him to do that blitz off the edge. You want him in run support because he does that. But they're going to play the matchups, right? Like if they need to, they could bump Sanderson outside, or they could have Sanderson follow someone, or Trey Amos do that, or like Jonathan Jones, like he's a good veteran, he's like a utility player. He's not going to be like super elite, but he's gonna hold his own as well. So,
and I fear the durability of Marshawn Lattimore, which makes me love this pick even more. Go ahead, Phil.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, I feel like that we also, the fact that Amos loves the press, plays, and gets up on receivers, and he can trade shots, and he can muscle with larger wide receivers. You go smother smaller receivers. So if you got small guys in the slot, which, by the way, I will say this: the league's getting away from the small guy as a slot guy. Like that is going away. It's still a thing, but it's not a thing like it used to be. You're gonna need, if Amos can slip inside at times too. I think that you have a matchup problem for opposing defenses, because if they decide they want to put Trey Amos inside, he's jamming dudes right off that line. That is going to take away slot routes all day long, because all your quick stuff out of the slot, it's always timing routes, and a guy like Amos will disrupt the timing. So absolutely, timing based. He gets up there, he presses that receiver, they're going nowhere. You're taking away that option. For sure. You're going to force them to have to go for something a little bit longer developing to the outside. At worst, guys like Lattimore and Jacobs and Samerstell.
At worst, Trey Amos is a high rotational player. He might not start week 1 or week 2. He's still a rookie, right? But at worst, they're going to roll him out in packages. They're going to get him out there on the field, which is fantastic. I think he'll eventually start, to be honest. One thing I kind of brewing in my mind is we did not necessarily add to the edge like pressure. Like we didn't add an elite edge rusher. We might still get Von Miller or Zadarius Smith or something like that. But there's a symmetry between a cornerback and an edge rusher. Maybe our cornerbacks are actually good enough to kind of handle the wide receivers for a couple seconds. We could be more aggressive with our blitz, right? We could throw Frankie Luvu out there. We can do some more exotic packages out there to kind of generate pressure because our corners can handle it, right? Like sometimes it's the other way around, but maybe this time, maybe our corners are good enough to kind of balance it out. We'll see how it all plays.
Yeah, fair enough. Dev was saying that he wanted Will Johnson. I believe he's talking about Will Johnson out of Michigan.
Yeah.
A lot of people wanted Will Johnson. He just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But all good. So yeah, Trey Amos is to me, he's probably between him and Jaylin Lane are one of my favorite picks in the draft. Trey Amos is growing on me every single day. I don't know why. It's just something. I feel like he's just nasty. Like. It's going to be fun to watch him play for.
I'm excited about him. I'm excited about him.
Rivers Reese, what's up, Rivers? Good to see you, man. Thanks for popping in, man. It's been a minute. Glad to see you back in the chat. Deuce says trades and picks: Tunsil, Conerly, Lattimore, AP, Ziggs, and we Zag. Just when you think you know what we think we know what he's doing, he does the opposite. So
yeah, man.
It just proves that we don't.
Just when you think you got the answers,
we don't know. We don't know.
It's actually very, very accurate for how AP operates.
100%.
When we think we're going this way, we think we know what the answer is. He goes, now we're going to change your question. It's not a matter of, will this guy fit? It's a matter of, what do we think of this guy who we never saw coming?
Deuce makes a good comment, and he had a tweet that we can show later. But trades and picks: Tunsil, Conerly, Lattimore, Amos, Debo, Lane, same type players. AP working out his win now and later. Yeah, like I said, I think Lattimore is someone to watch for. I am skeptical. Would love to see him keep going, but we'll see, man. We'll see. Okay, so that's Trey Amos. Now moving into the next pick. We had to wait a little bit. This is where we went from 61 to 128, and a lot of people who watch our show, and I was kind of the mindset too that maybe you try to do something to 61 to 128. That's a big weight, right?
Big
67
jump.
picks. So
Big
I thought
jump.
maybe they do something. So my hands are moving in a certain way. Maybe they do something to. But they didn't. So and then we got Virginia Tech burner Jaylin Lane, 4.3 40 guy. What's your thoughts on Jaylin Lane? Because I thought we had a chance to get Ty Felton. He came off the board, but
the Vikings.
What's your thought on Jaylin Lane? Because there's the receiver we thought we were getting in. I thought we were getting around 1. You thought we were getting around 2, and he came in. Was it round 4?
3 and 4. 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, guys in the chat, you guys can definitely chime in and support me because I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched a lot of film on Jaylin. I'm like catching up on Jaylin Lane right now, right?
Yeah.
I thought in the 4th round, I was hoping for running back. Like Dylan Sampson was kind of floating around as a guy that I really, really liked. I was hoping that we get him as like a home run threat as a running back. There's another Taj Brooks I think was also out there as well. But then once I started digging on Jaylin Lane, I started to like him more and more. Because I think, as you talked about it already, Steve, that whole RAS score, like he's a burner, dude. 4.3, 5.10, has some punt return and kick return, utility in that regard. I just think that was very impressive. And like what I liked was 40-inch vertical. What I like about our team is they have a good process, right? Like our drafters and our scouts, they try to win on the edges, right? Like they're like, you see them improving our kicker, you see them improving on our punt and kick return. Like they're thinking macro, big perspective, and not necessarily inside the box, right? You could have got like a developmental wide receiver, but how important would he have been to be like our 4th wide receiver, like trying to get some reps, or a guy that can walk in and be our punt return, kick returner day one? That's kind of where I'm looking at this. And I think Jaylin Lane is going to contribute on day one. I think he's going to dress. Like he's like, as a 4th round player, like, are they going to dress or not? I think Jaylin Lane is going to be on the field, and I think in addition to being a punt returner, kick returner, with our great offensive line, we can run plays where Terry McLaurin might be the first option. Debo Samuel might be the second option. We run a vertical with Jaylin Lane for the hell of it, and because we have protection on the line, he might get behind the guy. We can just throw it over the top. We have that ace in that sleeve if we need to. So I'm excited about it. We needed speed, and he offers that to our offense. We don't have juice on offense. He's someone that could potentially contribute.
Yeah, and so now your wide receiver room: Terry, Debo, Luke, KJ,
Gallup,
Michael Gallup, Jaylin Lane, and Noah Brown.
Yeah.
To me, this almost puts, I hate to say it, Luke McCaffrey on under a microscope. I know he's only in his 2nd year, but he was a returner. He was a spot receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have someone who can probably do it better. Mm-hmm. I don't know how. Now I'm sure KJ and Gallup are probably. I don't know. They might surprise me.
I think KJ is gone. I think KJ is gone. I think KJ is the one that's going to get knocked off immediately. Gallup, I'm interested. I don't think Gallup makes a team, but I'm intrigued. I think
you can stash 6 veterans on the practice squad now.
That's true.
You got room. But
I think Quinn gave Gallup a solid, I know you from back in the day. I'm gonna hook you up and get you on my team kind of thing. That's kind of the way I view Gallup. I don't think he's gonna be like a major contributor, but I think he might make the team in that regard. But I think I think Jaylin Lane's gonna do something. Luke is on watch. We're gonna see what happens with Luke because they both play slot. Luke and Lane both play slot. But I was hoping, man. You always say it takes 3 years for a rookie to develop. Luke got that. Hopefully, he has that McCaffrey work ethic. Hopefully, he's grinding. Right. I want to see something, something.
As Deuce would call him, he's a switcher, right? He was a quarterback, right? He was a quarterback. So I get it. It takes time. It takes time.
100%.
Yep.
What are you guys' thoughts on Lane and McCaffrey, all that?
Good.
It's an interesting pick. Lane is a burner, and he does have a strong work ethic. Like, dude wants to be the guy. He's got that in him.
Look at these scores, dude.
I really
like 99%, the 40-yard dash is ridiculous.
Gosh.
Yeah.
He's a great return man, great speed, great athleticism. He gets yak. He blocks with effort, not with technique. But he's willing to block downfield. He's more than willing to block downfield. And I think that's actually
that's a requirement on this team.
That's going
to receiver.
Him playing.
Ask Jahan Dotson. Ask Jahan Dotson.
Exactly.
My one big beef with Jaylin Lane is he is not a good route runner. He has a limited route tree. He's not the best at running precise routes. That's something that hopefully with his work ethic you can coach that out of him and get him to actually be a good route runner. But he does not run the most precise routes. And in this league, you have to be a good route runner to be a good wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's the room for the margin for error is so small. Mm-hmm. But as Deuce says below, then Lane's not afraid of the middle of the field either. He runs those chase routes a ton. Lane's not afraid of contact. That's why let's talk about the blocking thing. Mm-hmm. He's not afraid of contact. And for a guy who's he's not a slight build. I mean, he's 5'10", 5'9", 5'9", and 6'10" right there, as it says on the score. 191 pounds. That's actually a solid frame for that.
That is. He's pretty heavy for his weight. Yeah, for his height.
You know, so because of that, he can absorb punishment better. And to be able to still run a 4.3, 4.40, take it all day long.
For sure.
And he's very agile too. They can get his route running up. This is a steal.
And we talked about it in the chat, right? We talked about it in the chat, like Jaden Daniels is the elevator. Like he's a great quarterback. He's an accurate quarterback. He leads players. He's the opposite. It's so funny. Like Taylor Heineke would have those jump balls that would kill wide receivers. Jaden Daniels has great placing with the ball, right? He can elevate, throw it in front of Jaylin Lane and keep getting him running, with his momentum behind him, all those drag routes, all those mesh routes, all those screens. I think if anything, he's in a great situation to thrive here.
Yeah. And I wanted to pull this up just because we lost De'Ami Brown, right? There was a chance.
All I hear is how De'Ami Brown's so fast and he's going to stretch the field. And he's going to every year. This is his breakout year. This is going to be his breakout year. He makes some one long catch in the preseason. Oh my God, we're going to see that 40 times this season. No, we're not.
George, I believe George thought De'Ami had a chance to stay.
I thought so for sure, 100%.
Exactly. So I just wanted to bring this up, and so clearly there was some comparisons. De'Ami was running a 4.4 clearly against the 4.3. De'Ami wasn't as athletic as Jaylin Lane, but regardless of all that, I know Phil still has an affection for him. So here's a clip.
I think about it, the more
Christ, we're still play this.
Brown. That guy just brought something so special to the team.
I get it, Phil.
That's a great cut. That's a great cut. It's hilarious.
George, hold on, George. I'm going to say this right now.
That's a great cut. That's hilarious.
Skynet is self-aware.
Skynet. Skynet.
Yeah,
Skynet.
absolutely.
Dev and Steve got a hold of some AI program, literally, and
come on,
making cuts of me saying things.
What are you talking about here?
Well, I think that Paul Rudd is devilishly handsome. That would never come out of my mouth except for me to repeat what I've heard.
Phil's a Heineke fan too.
I have a confession to make. I secretly bought a Taylor Heineke jersey.
Respect.
And not gonna lie, it just feels right.
Respect. Heineke has his own, he has his own soundboard slot on here. Okay, so Jaylin Lane, I think Jaylin Lane's a good pick. There isn't a pick so far that we have not liked.
Yeah.
So then we roll on to the 6th round. So we had another gap. We went, 1, 2, 4, 6.
Yeah.
Kane Medrano. I think I'm spelling it right.
Yeah.
Golden Bear.
Yeah. Bruin.
Linebacker.
Yeah. He's a Bruin. He's a Bruin.
Yeah.
Bruin. Sorry, Bruin.
Yeah,
not Golden Bear. That's
UCLA
Cal.
Bruin.
I like this pick. I like this pick. He's super, super athletic. George, what is your thought? One, did you think we were going to get a linebacker in round 6? And 2,
no.
What do you think about this guy?
So I did not think we were going to get a linebacker in round 6. I had no idea where we were going to go. I was like running back, kicker, as Deuce was kind of hyping up. I didn't really know where we were going to go with it. I didn't do any film work on Kane Medrano. I didn't really know much about him. But I think, as we saw in the 4th and 6th round, Adam Peters did exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take a flyer, like a dart throw on these athletic traits. I think Medrano's superpower is that he can play pass coverage. He's a coverage linebacker. I think that's what's good about him. He's kind of in a competition with Percy Butler and Dom Hampton, that dime backer kind of thing. Mm-hmm. We'll see how he plays there. I'm rooting for him. I think he's going to have immediate special teams value. I think he'll do a good job there. I don't know if you guys saw the clip that I put up today. Jay Gruden does not like him at all. Did you guys see that today?
I did. Jay put up a couple of Jay Gruden clips.
Phil
hates Jay Gruden. I love Jay Gruden, by the way.
Okay. I think Jay Gruden's hilarious. I think he's hilarious. I don't know.
You guys had him on your show. It was great on your show. So
I don't know if he's a great talent evaluator, but I think it's hilarious. It was so funny. He was on Kime's show, and he was like, "Dude, why do we pick Stuart Cravens? I don't like those tweets." Jay Gruden said that. He's like, "I don't like tweeners. I don't want a safety. I don't want a half linebacker. Give me one or the other." And he kind of pegged Kane Medrano like that. He was
a tweener.
Yeah, tweener. He's like, he can cover, he can provide, if you're in 3rd and 12 is a good thing, but I don't know if he's going to be you can't put him in the box with Saquon Barkley's going to run right over him, right? So that was kind of the concern from Jay. I'm interested because we don't have a coverage linebacker, right? I like Bobby Wagner, but he's kind of lost a step there. He plays with his smarts, but not his speed. So I think that's interesting. So
once again, he is, and I'm about to share this tab. 57th highest RAS score in the history of linebacker RAS.
Yeah.
57th
Ridiculous.
out of 3,203 from 87 to 25.
Yeah.
That's bonkers. Hold up. Who is Luke McCaffrey's godfather? What did I miss? Deuce. Tell me who Luke McCaffrey's godfather is. Because I feel like that's something I need to know. But yes, Kane Medrano. Look at this. That's some speed. Now, what I don't know is where would he play?
Mm-hmm.
Would he be on the outside? Would he be on the inside?
He's
like a will linebacker. So what I see,
linebackers.
He's like a nickel linebacker, will linebacker. He's going to be playing. He might be covering the tight ends potentially. I don't think they'd put him at the point of attack. I think he could kind of bully it a little bit. He's only 200. He's only 220 pounds, guys. Keep that in mind. Like, I think Jeremy Chin was 220 pounds. Like, put some perspective on it.
Maybe he could convert to safety.
Maybe he could potentially convert to safety.
He's got speed.
I think they'll put him in the field for packages, and we'll see where he goes. The one thing that I do want, I know, we were talking about moxie and intangible and stuff like that. I think what's hilarious about him, and I'm rooting for him, is when they did a phone call, he was like, "Coach, I'm not going to let you down. Thank you for picking me on the team. I'll do anything for this team." So I'm rooting for him. I have nothing against him. I just hope he finds a spot. I guess he's going to be more of like a special teamer to start off the year, maybe more in packages. He's not the heir apparent to Bobby Wagner. He's never going to play middle linebacker or anything like that. I think it's more Jordan McGee's role. But I think he's more of like that big nickel, that Buffalo nickel that we heard with Ron Rivera. I think it's kind of where we're seeing with him.
Right.
I don't even think he's like that because I don't think he's going to play like that safety role. When I say nickelback, I mean a nickel linebacker the way Monty Coleman was for so many years. Mm-hmm. He's really fast. You can have him cover tight ends and running backs coming out the backfield. It's funny because Medrano's best. He's also a zone guy. Mm-hmm. He's better in zone than man. Mm-hmm. But he is does not play to run well. He's not a good tackler, but he's great athlete, great in coverage. You put him in there on 3rd and 5+ when you know it's going to be a passing play, and let him go out there and just take away targets.
Yeah,
you need guys like that, guys who you bring in these packages.
Absolutely.
And if they're going to be super athletes like that, even better. Like I said, Monty Coleman was a super athlete for a guy his size.
Yeah. Yep. And Deuce kind of talked about it in the chat, and I agree with this as well. There's definitely that UCLA connection, right? Adam Peters with the UCLA. Ken Norton Jr. coached him back in the day when he was at UCLA. Because Ken Norton, for those that don't know, he was a linebacker coach at UCLA a couple of years ago. So I think that's a good connection.
Okay.
And that's actually I think that's pretty powerful, right? If your old coach that coached you in that same position advocates for you, there's something there. So he's someone. It's a 6th-round pick, guys. It's kind of like a dart throw. Who cares? You have a linebacker that's going to play well. You 6th-round pick and 7th-round pick are special teamers. He's at worst a special teamer. He's a developmental linebacker. That's roll the dice. See what happens.
And he is actually very good in special teams.
I was going to say, I guarantee he will be a contributor on special teams.
That's actually in every draft report I see is how good he is on special teams.
Yeah, that's good then.
That's the perfect place to take him.
Yep. Shout out to Dave G. Hey, Dave. Good seeing you, man. Not a thumper, but fast. I love your YouTube AV, the R with the feather on it. That is dope, man. I like
it. It's dope. I like that.
It's kind of like my my old school R. Dev said he wanted Jared Ivey. Yeah. Jared Ivey from Mississippi. He got picked up by the Seahawks. Post draft. I thought he was going to get drafted too.
Me too.
Marcus said Kane used to be a wide receiver to linebacker, and Ken Norton Jr. worked him for. Yes, just what Marcus said.
Yep.
Dude said he sees the field very well, but when he gets there, yes. Adam Peters is his godfather. I don't know if that's a joke or not.
Yeah, probably a joke. I'm guessing, but it makes sense. Yeah, I can see
the Buffalo nickel. The Buffalo nickel. What do you call it, Phil? Hero back.
Hero back. Hero back. There's a couple different terms for it.
Hero back.
But hero back is what they called it at Penn State. 30 years before we called it Buffalo nickel. That I said I remember that because that was Kim Herring's position at Penn State. Kim Herring went to the Ravens and was a solid safety for them for years, if you remember. Yeah. He was one of those guys that when I was younger, I was like, we got to get this guy, draft him, and then the Ravens got him. I'm like, no. But we had good safeties back then. Got great.
So,
but there's a couple different. There's big nickel, buffalo nickel, hero back.
Yeah, they call it Jalen Ramsey the star in the Rams. I think they call it, what's the guy, Khalil Hudson? They used to call him the Viper in Michigan. There's always a different. Yeah, Khalil Hudson. They always. It's an oversized nickelback is what that is. If they had that person over there, that's all it is.
Yeah. So moving on to the 7th round in the 29 slot, pick 245.
This one's
a lot of people were on the running back train early on because everyone has their gripes about. First off, Slick with the Kicks. Thank you for joining, man. Appreciate you. Good to see you again. Everyone has their gripes about the running back room, and Brian Robinson Jr. has poor vision. Brian Robinson Jr. has some durability issues. I mean, the man had 700 yards. He had like 600 of those early on in the season, but that's if you remember, the line was pulling across the field, making crazy blocks. I mean, even Zach Ertz was making some blocks early on. Then when that line folded, so did Brian Robinson. There's times where he kind of ran into the butts of some linemen, so he has a vision issue with that zone scheme. But
we weren't running zone earlier in the season. We were running gap.
You guys are right. So both of you guys are right. I think what's crazy about Cliff Kingsbury, I didn't really see it till I started breaking down Cliff Kingsbury's offense. He has a lot of guard tackle pulls. Both of them will basically pull at one time. And we had a lot of injuries where our players were going out, our offensive linemen were going down, kind of in and out. And with that lack of chemistry, and when Brian Robinson getting nicked up, I think all of that kind of led to the downfall of our.
And they just stopped, and it just became straight. It was that stupid. And Phil and I hated this in the pistol, long developing. Not just to get the ball, turn around, hand off. It was the long developing, get the ball, move a couple steps, and it was just terrible. And they were in the backfield before you know it. So
we were running a gap scheme. Running a gap scheme. A lot of those tackle and guard pulls. For those of you who are old school, what's a tackle and guard pull lead to?
Joe Gibbs, old ball.
Counter trade, counter duo.
Love it.
Counter trade, counter duo, which is the counter trade is a play. Counter gap is a concept. That's why I tend to say counter gap, because trade means you go into the 3 hole, not 2. On that side. So on a side, so you're going just off tackle instead of going between guard and tackle. But nonetheless, we were running a lot of counter gap, and Brian Robinson was eating people alive in there. Right? A lot of inside gap too, all that. When you run with a gap scheme, it's pretty much here's the hole. You're going to take the ball and you're going to run to it. Right? There's a lot. It's very decisive. That's why zone plays always take longer to develop. Go back and watch Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis not just take the ball and run. Terrell Davis take the ball, be a little slower to develop, look for the hole, and he'd find the hole and go. He had that vision. Brian Robinson Jr. doesn't have that vision, so he's not a zone back. I'm not giving up on Brian Robinson Jr. because he's not a zone running back. All right, unless we're going to stick with a zone scheme. But with all these athletes up front, why not go back to what we were doing? Let's do more of the guard and tackle pulls. Let's run these gaps. It worked, right? Yeah. We got hosses up front. We got athletic hosses up front. Do it. But what's interesting is the back we picked in the 7th round runs well in inside zone and gap attacks.
Sure enough.
A little bit of both.
I like him. So going with Brian Robinson, I think he's a fine back. I think he's a 15 to 20 in the league. He's a decent running back, but he's not going to blow the socks off. If he's your starting running back, he'll probably get 800 yards, maybe 1,000 if he plays all 17 games, something like that. He's a decent running back, but the problem is he's not an explosive back. He's not necessarily someone that's going to be super dynamic or create on his own. He needs an offensive line. He had Barry Sanders back in the day, but no offensive line. He could juke everybody and still get yards. That's how
he was a shot creator.
He's a shot creator. He's a playmaker, right?
Yeah, he had 2 offensive linemen his entire career.
Exactly right.
Yeah, Barry Sanders not much.
Yeah, dude, one of my favorite players of all time.
Yeah. Brian
Robinson needs an offensive line in front of him. And, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think there's some limitations to him. I like cross-scheme Barrett. I think that what's going to happen is going in, it's going to be a battle. I think, Austin Eckler, I think he has a solidified position. He's our pass catcher. He's our dynamic. He's our pass blocker. people sleep on Austin Eckler's pass blocking. He's a fantastic third down back because he can block the shit out of people. He just lays people out as the pass blocker. Brian Robinson's a good first and second down back. I think what's going to happen is JCM's going to compete with the Jeremy Nichols of the world, the Chris Rodriguez of the world, and that third round back. But I think he's going to beat them out. And I think what's going to happen is going to offer a different wrinkle to our offense, which is going to be nice because, like, it's going to be better for everybody. If Brian Robinson plays, if he has 10 or 15 carries and Eckler has 6 or 7, and then JCM has 6 or 7 as well, it's a good balance and just plays the hot hand. I kind of like that. And with Merritt, he has a little bit of wiggle. He's some jump cuts. Yeah. He has some creativity, and I like that because I think he offers something different than Robinson. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
he's shifty. And it's funny because he's not very agile, right? Mm-hmm. So and you can see that, and it's funny. If you look at the agility grade, it's poor. His speed grade is great, right? Mm-hmm. He's a guy who likes to find his downhill, and he builds speed as he goes. Mm-hmm. He can catch the ball, but he's not a good third down back. This is a guy who's going to be alternating a lot, and so he's not touching Austin Eckler's role at all.
No, not at all. I think it's 4 catches in college, Phil. Yeah,
because he's a poor route runner. Mm-hmm. He's another terrible route runner. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, route running ability isn't necessarily like the first thing I look for in a running back. Mm-hmm. But he has good shiftiness to the point that he doesn't take a lot of direct contact. Mm-hmm. One-on-one. He'll turn what should be a straight-on tackle into an arm tackle attempt, like just that little micro movement, right? He's not going to spin move and juke guys out their cleats, but he will do a little something that guy's got, who thinks he's got a dead-on. I'm going to hit you with my pads and everything. Mm-hmm. Now I'm lunging a little bit to get the arm tackle, which is easier to break. Mm-hmm. And he is 24, though. That's the one thing I'm like, ugh.
Remember, he had that eligibility issue, which I still don't know how that happens at Alabama State, where, as a redshirt, you play 4 games, you can retain your eligibility. He plays his 4 games, hands his jersey over. Somehow, that dude racks up another 8 games worth of stats, and all of a sudden, you played a whole season. And I don't know how the NCAA couldn't figure that out with Alabama State and be like, he really didn't play. Like, I don't understand how you even lose that battle.
I don't really get it either. And it's kind of funny, like in this era of like COVID years, everyone's playing 5, 6, 7 years. Like, give the guy a damn break. Like, why? I don't understand why they're too. Right. It was like the NCAA like wanted to flex on it for whatever reason. I don't like it, but it's all good. 1 year less to tread.
They can figure it out. They did it to Talia Tagovailoa at Maryland tried to say, I have an extra eligibility. And they were like, nope, you don't, because they calculated everything. And I don't know. That's why I don't like the NCAA. But T Rose, what's going on? Appreciate you popping in, man. Wiley can't bend with them young players. Conerly Jr. was a great pick up, pass and run. You must be catching up, man. Yes, we wholeheartedly agree with you. We do not disagree with you.
We literally have an award, T Rose, if you haven't watched this before, called the Glock Dookie Award.
Glock Dookie Award.
Mm-hmm. We almost want to name it after Andrew Wiley because he has won that award more than anyone.
Yes. Dev says Robinson runs to the back. Hold on. Yes.
Yeah. He's not.
Dude says Counter Trey reminds me of his favorite player of all time, Trey Johnson. He's his dream interview.
We got to make that work. Like, between us 3 and Deuce, we got to get you Trey Johnson. I don't think it's as hard to get. We just got to figure it out, find his contact, and get him on there. He can do it. He can do it.
I wore 77 in high school because of Trey Johnson.
Yes. Say it again, sorry, I missed that.
I wore 77 in high school as an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, but I wore that in high school because of Trey Johnson.
That was dope.
I played tackle. I didn't play guard, but I still, Trey Johnson was just a beast, and I wanted to be that beast. So I wanted 77, so I wore 77.
Yeah. Dev checking in saying we forgot about Gateway as a punter kicker combo. Yes. So no Zane Gonzalez. Zane Gonzalez.
I love it.
We did sign Matt Gay, veteran kicker Matt Gay.
Yeah.
$5 million bucks, give or take, I think, for 1 year. That's not bad at all.
He's a good kicker.
I love that solid kicker.
That nickname that's going to catch on in DC. Gateway is the best way. The whole special teams combination is hilarious. I love it. I was driving around the DMV today doing my job, listening to radio. What was really powerful to me is that Gay, he actually so people were kind of criticizing that he doesn't have he's inaccurate on the 50 yards and above kicks. People kind of said that out loud. But if you look at his stats, they believe in the strength of his leg at least, right? Like if you guys look at it, I think like Zane Gonzalez has been in the league 2 years longer than Gay, and he's kicked half the amount of kicks, if that makes any sense, right? So Zane Gonzalez has kicked 19 50-yard kicks throughout his entire career, while Gay has done it 45 times. Like they trust him more with 50 and above. I think the percentage is about 70. It's not the best percentage in the world, but he's a stronger leg than Gonzalez. And all things equal, they're about the same type of kicker, and for whatever reason, they like him better. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll take it. I mean,
fair.
Yeah. So I mean, it's whatever. Right? Kickers are kickers. I just don't want to have that anxiety. Like I was talking to Deuce the other day, and Deuce says that during a live game when it's an away game and it's a kick, like a long field goal, he basically pauses it, walks away for a second, and then basically fast forwards because he can't watch it because he has so much anxiety with the kicks. And I haven't trusted our kicker in a very long time, DC.
Yeah, you get kind of queasy. You're like on edge. You're like puckered up real tight. You're like
every time. Every time.
Yeah. It's so hopefully it'd be nice that I thought we had that issue when not Zane, but who was our original guy?
Seibert, right?
Austin.
Yeah,
Seibert, no, I wanted him back.
He was killing it. He was crushing it. Yeah.
And then he got hurt.
What about any of the free agents, undrafted free agents? Are they intriguing to you? Ja'Cory Brooks?
Yeah.
Who's the other guy?
Taylor.
Cypress from Florida State was pretty legit.
Gabe Taylor's getting an invite. And he's
Gabe Taylor's getting an invite. So like Cypress, his name was coming up during the draft cycle a lot. People were kind of projecting him as a 7th round pick. That was interesting. Ja'Cory Brooks looks pretty damn impressive, man. I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about him now, and hopefully over the next couple of weeks we'll do some more research on him. He looked good, man. He had some wiggle. I think he played at Alabama for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He kind
Louisville.
Louisville.
Dev loved the Louisville connection.
Yeah, Dev Louisville connection there. I like that. I like the fact that they're bringing in competition. The one best part about Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, is that they roll the ball out. Like, hey, if you want to play, let's do it, right? Like we talked about it last year. It's kind of awkward having that captain week to week, like who we're going to make our captain walking out of the week. But I like the fact that they do that because it's like merit based, right? If you had a great game the previous week, if you had a great practice week, you're going to become the captain that week. I think they're breeding competition, so go for it there.
Yeah.
And then Taylor, I don't know how we can talk about this for a second before we wrap it up. Like Gabe Taylor, I'm glad they invited him. I want him to do the best that he can, but I don't want it to be like a sob story. I don't want it to be like we throw him a bone. I want him to earn it if he earns it, right? Like it's still is a business. We still have to have the best players on the field. I don't think Adam Peters is going to waver on that. I think Adam Peters is a businessman. I think like we're giving him the best shot. He gets to come on. Like if he can do it, he can do it. But whatever, we don't want to put pressure on
nepotism. If you make it, you make it. Make your own way. Pave your own way. I'm glad he's getting a shot, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. What do you guys think on that? Same thing.
I like the Gabe. He chose to be here. He had multiple offers, so it's cool that. But like, I'm with you. I want him to pave his own way. I want him to earn everything. Yeah. And if he makes it, it'll just be that much. I
will say the fact that he had multiple offers actually means that if he somehow makes the team, he earned it. Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't because obviously other teams wanted to see more of him. So I'm fine with that.
There's a path. I mean, our safety room isn't that deep, right? He can beat some of the people on like our safety on a practice squad. Like who is it? Jeremy Reeves. It's Tyler. They like Tyler Owens, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Percy Butler, Quan Martin, Will Harris. I mean,
there's not a lot of room. Not a lot of room.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Dev says Fitz and the Miami kicker were sitting right there too. The Miami kicker, I thought we had a chance to get that Miami kicker, but clearly with only 5 picks, it just wasn't going to happen. Deluxe said if they had a following, active long snappers would be even better. More Kunz, Coxer would. Yeah. Gayway and Cheeseman.
Very provocative. Yeah.
I forget who our long snapper is now. I just totally
I forget his name too. I mean, it's a good thing, I guess.
It escapes me.
Yeah.
T-Rose says, I hope the front office taking a liking to him. They definitely need the hard work for Gabe Taylor. Yeah. Real quick, George, want to get your thoughts on all the RFK stuff going on. So it came out earlier this week. The team agreed in principle with the mayor of DC, Mayor Bowser. The team would invest, $2.7 billion. DC would have to come up with about $1.2 billion on their own, starting off with like a tranche of like $400 or $500 million. And then when the tax revenue hits from the other thing, they would pay a couple, $400 or $500 million more into the stadium. We're talking 92 retail places and restaurant, 5 districts, want to host a Super Bowl, covered glass dome. We talked about it on our Monday show. What's your thought about going back to RFK? They're building up not out. The potential to bring all the stuff back to DC, not 8,000 open air parking spots doesn't mean they're not going to have more in the parking garage. But what is how do you feel about going back to RFK?
I think it's a home run, man. I think it's fantastic. Like, I think unanimously, if you ask anybody from DC, Maryland, Virginia, anyone outside of the state, like, where should the Washington Redskins, Washington Commanders, where should this football team be? Everyone says in the nation's capital, in Washington. I think it's fantastic. As a season ticket holder, I'm a little bit nervous. Like, I think, I'm in the lower level. Like, I'm right now, I'm in the lower level. They're pretty damn affordable. Like, I'm not a baller by any means, but I can afford a ticket between me and my wife. I'm afraid that with this new stadium and PSLs, I'm probably going to get priced out. I might have to move up to the upper level, but at the same time, I think it's going to be awesome, man. Because I think having a dome, having that retail, having that that layout with all the Plaza District, the parking district, the field district, all that different stuff. It's just going to be an event to go there. Like, we're going to go there and shop and eat and drink and watch the game. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you know me, man. I'm born and raised in the DMV. I'm a DC sports guy. I want to be proud of the team that I'm right?
For sure.
And I think it's really going to be, because it's going to be one of the newest stadiums in the NFL. It's going to be one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah,
I'm really pumped about it.
That Super Bowl, it's calling us. I made the joke earlier. I don't know if you saw this, but we talked about it in our own internal chat. They're closing Six Flags in Bowie, right off Central Avenue, just down the road from FedEx Field.
Yeah.
Westmore's like, do something now.
500 acres, bro. 500 acres in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right here, I'll show you the picture very quickly.
Stadium, though.
All you gotta do is extend the blue line. I even did all the math. I did the math. The blue line's right over here. You extend that bad boy out there. It's about 4 miles down the road. 500 acres. You could keep the theme park like homeboy from Duke was going to give us. And then just joking.
Homeboy from Duke, yeah.
He promised the theme park.
Destroy everything else and keep the lazy river.
So
yeah,
funny.
but the cool thing about the team, though, Westmore came out. I don't know if you saw Westmore's announcement that he has an MOA, a memorandum of agreement with the team, that within 90 days of playing in a new stadium, they would start demo. And I believe the team's going to help plan the next project or participate in the plan.
I've heard that too, actually.
So
yeah.
If this was Dan Snyder, he'd be like, I'm out.
Absolutely.
So for them to show that the little bit of a goodwill towards, because I feel like they still want to get Maryland, Virginia, and DC involved some. I don't know how you're going to keep Maryland in the game.
I don't know if you know, but so the way it works right now is they have Ashburn, Virginia's headquarters. They have the business sales. They used to be at FedEx Field, or at Northwest within the stadium, but now they actually have offices at College Park. So all those ticket reps, all those sailors guys out there in College Park. So they still have Maryland, DC, Virginia, and it's prudent of them and smart of them to keep a connection with all three of those avenues, just to kind of build it up. Because if you don't show love to one or the other, they're going to go somewhere else, right? Especially Maryland, because Baltimore's they're creeping. They want to take away the reach that Maryland has, or the Commanders have. So they want to take that away for sure. So that's how it is right now.
They had for a while, but this season really, PG County was really becoming Ravens territory, and now not so much.
I can honestly say every day I go out, I see Commanders gear everywhere I go.
It's great, isn't it?
Awesome, dude.
It's
awesome.
Great. It's a conversation starter.
It's dope. I go to the gym, be like, "What's up?" You gotta get a little head nod with people. That's cool. Fantastic.
Couple other things before we close out. Just a couple cool things to show. So if you guys don't know, for most people, the Cavs are in the playoffs, and last week at Game 1, you had Jaden Daniels, Sam Hartman, Marcus Mariota, almost all the offensive line. And then, the last game, Luvu makes his way in there.
I love Luvu, dude. I love him.
Love Luvu. I don't know where the sound is on this one, but look at that. Just pounding the beard, going crazy. Love to see it. Love to see it, man. The Uso. Yeah, love to see it, man.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
Luvu, what I like about Luvu is no matter where he goes, he is the same dude.
Absolutely.
Because if you told me that dude does a haka, before and after every game, I'm like, yep, I believe it.
Give it to me. Give it all to me. Go ahead.
Say one real quick thing. Yeah. Me being a nerdy DC guy, dude, the Capitals games are on fire. The people, when you go there, the fans are going crazy, and I've always been a Commanders fan. It's always been my number one thing. But if you go to a Capitals game, if you watch it on TV, that fan base, that particular fan base for the Capitals games, sold out every time, pumped them every time, yelling every time. Everyone's wearing a red jersey, rock the red when you go in there. I love the fact that JDN is watching. Like them going to the games and like freaking Louis, Sam Collins, JDN are watching that. They see like Pinnacle DC, and I hope they find love for this city. You know what I'm saying? I want them like, this is what DC is all about. It's what our playoffs could be. Let's pump it up a little bit. So I like the connection there.
And I guarantee we're going to see Caps. We're going to see Ovi. We're going to see Tom Wilson at week 1.
Yeah,
or whenever the home opener. I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Final thing I want to close out with, George, is we have a new segment on the show we call the Paul Rudd moment of the week. Okay. So we are big fans of Paul Rudd, the ageless wonder. The ageless wonder.
Phil was got a crush on him.
Listen, I could choose one celebrity to be my best friend. It would hands down be Paul Rudd.
Why don't you play what Paul Rudd said about me?
Okay, here's the intro to the Paul Rudd moment of the week.
Okay.
And now it's time for my favorite segment, the Paul Rudd moment of the week. Every time I see Paul Rudd, I wonder if he made a deal with the devil to stay so effortlessly handsome.
Okay, this is just a funny moment that you just want to share with everyone because we don't have anything else to call it. So anyways, got 2 quick things to show you, George, on the way out. Okay. One for me, one for Phil. Just a little funny laugh. So
absolutely,
without any further ado, here you go. I got one thing, and Phil has one thing as well. This is goated. So this is a professor kind of showing the final day of class students their grades. So just watch. It's very short.
No worries.
You all voted to know your grades before the semester's over. I'm just making it more fun. Please stand up if your last name is Mortensen, McKellen, Wood, Aston, Lee, and Bloom. You shall not pass!
Hey.
Have a great summer.
These Philly people look like Gandalf out there. That's ridiculous, dude. Yeah, I'll be so embarrassed when I was that girl.
As an educator, George, as an educator yourself, would you
you wanted to do this?
Dude, I'll be fired instantly. I'll be in the Washington Post, Fox 5 News. I couldn't be doing that at all. I couldn't do that.
Oh man, I just thought that was funny as an educator, George.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I would
love to do it, but you can't do that out here. It's
right.
Crazy.
Okay, one more. Go ahead, Phil. Were you say something?
Let's say my mother's a teacher, and trust me, if she could epically do this, she would.
So
Speaking of educator, what's up, DT? I hope you saw that clip too, man. I want to see you tell these kids how they didn't pass Lord of the Rings style. But yeah, good to see you, TT. Always. One more. Now, this one's from Phil. This one's pretty funny too. Check this out.
I haven't seen this one.
The grandparents race.
This is the grandparents race.
And they're off in the grandparents derby.
He's cooking. Ooh.
Spill, another spill.
Damn. I wonder who was flying too. He's cooking at first. Look at him. Oh. Look at this guy. Good form. Arm is straight. I like that. I wonder what his RAS score is. It's pretty bad. Yeah.
That was a good one, Phil. That was a good one. Man, that's funny. Hold on. I think I have one more. Going back to the stadium talk. I don't know if you guys have you seen the rendering of the stadium where they were talking about having it look like the Capitol?
No, sure. Oh, yeah. So I think the Coliseum looking thing.
Yeah, Coliseum. I'm not a fan of it at all. I'm not a fan of it at all. But you know what? I can't. It's not.
I did see it, and I was like, ooh.
I'd rather. It sounds weird. I want it to look like a spaceship as opposed to a freaking Coliseum. Like make it look freaking brand new. The Las Vegas, like freaking like Death Star, like whatever. Like drop that down, make it look fresh, brand new, whatever. Make it look really cool, like modern. I don't want it to be like Greek Orthodox, whatever it is. I'll do that.
Neo-Renaissance, but I think it's
Renaissance. I look at Phil.
Yeah.
But I actually think you could do that and make it look really modern.
if you're creative, I wanted to look like freaking like an alien, like 2050. I wanted to make it look like.
See, I said whatever you do, just give me the roller coaster roof.
Okay, yeah, exactly. That's dope, right? A little like saucer thing. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Whatever. Like RFK had the roller coaster roof.
Yeah.
That's give me something like that with a dome, of course.
Yeah.
Retractable roof or something. There's gonna be some kind of roof, but give me that. Give me that. But if they were to try to match the architecture, to match the monuments, the Capitol, and everything else, I would not be mad. I would not be mad. If you can get creative with it, and look, you've got billions of dollars to be creative with this thing.
Yeah.
Get creative.
That one logo they created, a little diamond where they had like the Washington W with the actual like old school RFK with the roller coaster roof in front of it. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. It was dope actually. So I think it'd be kind of cool to have that roof, kind of keep it going.
I feel like that's a part of it. I feel like because it's such it gives you something unique to the sight line of the stadium, right?
100%. Yeah.
Like people will see that.
Iconic.
People saw that roof line, they knew it was RFK.
Mm-hmm.
You do something, you gotta have that signature deal. Like you see, there's just certain stadiums have that. Of course, the Cowboys have the toilet bowl.
There you go.
At the top.
I'm not a fan of that. I mean, it's too close to what the government works in.
Yeah,
in DC.
Yeah, I don't like that, but I like
it. Kind of looks like the Capitol up on the top.
Yeah,
it
does.
Yeah,
I like the thought. You know what I mean? Like the. If you can get more modern with that concept, I think you look really cool. The concept itself is really cool. I don't like that rendering, but if you can do something with that concept, man, I mean,
speaking of,
there'll be no mistaking. That's DC.
Dev saw a new Paul Rudd movie last night, Death of a Unicorn. He did like it. Never seen it, Phil. Never seen it, Dev.
I didn't even know there was such a thing. But okay,
I've seen
not
it.
Not a Paul Rudd fan.
But if you made it this far, guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone who tuned in tonight. George, thank you so much for kicking it with us tonight, man. I know you have a million things you could be doing, but you spent your time here with us, so we greatly appreciate it. And where can we find you? Let's do the plugs and tell everyone what you guys got going on.
Absolutely, man. And guys, it was a pleasure, dude. Out on here for an hour and a half. It felt like no time. It flew by real quick. I love jumping on here with you guys. You guys can find me on Twitter at GCarmi21. Me and Doug do our show every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the Big Doug and Carmi Show. Definitely follow us on YouTube, guys. It'd be awesome to get some more. I love the live chat, seeing everybody's talking to you guys live. So it'd be awesome if you guys joined us. I think we're going to do a film breakdown on Trey Amos on Saturday with Mark to come on our show. So definitely follow us on YouTube, Facebook, on Twitter. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. And George's X information will be in the description of this video. Also, we'll link the channel to the Big Doug and Carmi Show. As always, always love collaborating with fellow content creators. So, George, thank you so much, brother. Yep, we'll be back Monday. Hey guys, next Thursday we're gonna have a kind of reenacting the playoffs. So we're going to bring on the Buccaneers podcast, and we're going to bring on the Talking Grit Lions podcast. So we'll talk with the Buccaneers first because they were our wild card game. Then we'll work our way into the Lions, and we'll just talk to them about how their drafts went and how you think that might affect their seasons going forward. They're friends of the show, so we always like to learn about other team. We're not stovepipe on just the Commanders, so that'll be next Thursday's show, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, this audio will be out here in about 20 minutes on all your audio podcast platforms. Make sure you go follow George and Big Doug as well. And George, once again, man, it's been a blast. We'll catch you next time.
Always, brother. Peace.
All right, Phil, any closing words, Phil, before we vámonos?
Thank God warm weather is finally here.
Hell yeah.
Thank God. I went to the gym this morning. I left my house a little after 7 o'clock. It was 58 degrees. I got back after making stops and stuff. It was about 9 o'clock. It was 77. I was like, thank you.
Pollen's crazy for a guy that's
it's crazy.
But you know, I appreciate it as well. So
love it.
Yep. All right, guys. We all get out of here.
Damn it.
Thanks to George. We'll see you next. Peace. Inhale. We out.